This week I went back to the 87 series, or at least the 87 series toys, and I do a slap shot hockey Leo. I turn them into Donnie and do a diorama. But this Leo has a dog or a person or a large cat ate part of his skate, and so I have to fix that, and neither of these guys have the mechanism working, so I'm covering him, and also he's going to be stationary, so I fill in with green stuff putty his the gap between his chest where he would move for the slap shot, and I cut off the button and I fill in all the little spots that were chewed and eaten by the dog with the same green stuff putty. It's by Army Painter, and it's a putty. It's a two-part, and you mix it together. It's blue and yellow, it becomes green. Then once I get a basic shape, I try to flatten it out with some parchment paper, and while that takes 24 hours to dry, I move on to the hockey stick. So these are bamboo stirring sticks, and I scored it with a X-Acto knife just to get it started so it's easier to cut with my hobby saw. Then that piece is going to go on sideways on the end. Now I have to sand it to the right shape, and so I'm going to try and thin out the blade a bit before I glue it together and then shape it more. I'm just using some super glue. I happen to be using gel super glue because that's just what I had handy, and now there's still a little bit of gap that I fill in with some wood filler, and I move on to the base of the base. And first step, I use some super glue and some sticky, I don't know, the things that go under things so they don't slide, or I don't remember what those are called. And I'm using a purple on the base just to go around, and the rest of it, I'm drilling holes where I'm going to put toothpicks to hold the ice on top. So I cut the ends off a bunch of toothpicks. I think it was 332s was the drill size to get the right size for the toothpicks, if you were wondering. Now I have some EVA foam, and I just score a line. That's where the yellow line of the boards is going to be, because those are going to be the two sides of the boards, and then the large one is going to be the ice surface. And I just mess up like the ice surface a bit, and then when I go in with my heat gun, it seals everything up so it'll take the paint better, and it also opens all the gaps. And this is a white and then a matte medium, so it's just like a thickening agent because I want to fill in any little holes and imperfections that I didn't do myself, and also really cover up the red and make these not look like foam. So that's just it's the first time I ever tried with the matte and matte medium. Then I dry brush, well no, I don't dry brush, then I do a light coat of tropical blue on the ice surface. Now it's the next day, but I need to add more green stuff, so I have a little bit of water there that's going to help it stick and smooth out better, but it easily sticks to itself. It sticks to pretty much anything, and I can just further shape now that it's more solid, the blade, and also the little rockets were chewed off, so I have to make new rockets there on that skate on both sides. So I do some little dimples in there to make them match the other. And now I'm doing a clear coat over that stuff that I painted. But the clips are from the 2000 series, not the 87 series that the toys are from. That's because it's the only episode I could remember where they're playing hockey. And now I'm sanding again, but I realized I sanded a left-handed blade where the figures are right-handed, the way they're holding the sticks. So I have to now, I could have made a new blade, but I'm just trying to sand a lot so I can get it to seem like it's bent in the other direction. Now I added some titanium white to the white mix because I want these boards to really stand out and pop out as opposed to the ice. But I'm using the same white to just dry brush some white on top of the blue, and that's going to make it look more like ice and like little bits of snow built up on top of the ice, because that's how ice is when you play hockey. And some spots will have like a little more snow build up, but it has a general blue tone. That was them on the ice. Now I'm using, I think it's a sunny yellow, and that's just for the top part of the boards, because that's how some hockey arenas do it. And I'm using my nail file now to sand even more of this hockey stick, just to get the right shape and see as much as I can get the blade to be right-handed. I spend hours actually sanding this stick, but I don't show that much of it. But if you don't have a stick, you can use your size and just spin around. Now I'm doing a glossy varnish for the boards here, again because I want them to really stand out against the flat, white, snowy ice. And now it's time to glue down the ice, and I just covered it with super glue and did my best to get it straight, but it was still off. It always is. Now I picked the back of the board, and on the back of the board I wrote my name, and I cut up a few of those stir sticks, well, 2 of them, and I'm gluing those down onto a piece of clear plastic. That was just the window from I think it was a Playmates 2-pack, had a big window, and I cut a piece out of that for the right side of the glass that goes in between the board. And if you are familiar with hockey, you will probably understand this without me telling you so much. And I glue that down, and that's nice and straight, but I didn't use the right black marker, so it's smudging while I'm working. But that's okay, because it just makes it look dirty without me having to make it look dirty. I liked how it came out when it's smudged. Anyway, cut off a little piece of toothpick that was sticking out there, and then I glued toothpicks into the bottom of the boards, put glue underneath, glue down the boards, and now I'm adding some more white for like extra snow that's built up along the boards, because that happens. Now I'm using a nail file to sand down the skate parts that I added the green stuff to get it a little smoother, but there's still some holes and cracks that are inevitable, and I'm using Spackling to fill in that. Spackling's great because it's thin and it's sandable in like 15-20 minutes, and it just gets in all those cracks and details, and I can sand everything smooth and nice. And so this took a lot longer. Usually I have like 3.5 days to make the figure, and then 3.5 days to edit and produce and post the video. But this guy took me 4.5 days because I did the base as well, so I skipped out the painting his jersey and his skates, and painted his mask blue. I usually would have done a white primer, but I wanted the blue to kind of show through to make the purple a little darker and different. Then I used hockey stick tape to tape the hockey stick, painted the tape purple, and now I cover everything with a clear coat of matte acrylic varnish. Most of the materials I use I'll have linked down below if you want to try something like this for yourself. Then it took me this long to make the puck because I thought I'd be able to find something that would be right for the puck, but I didn't. So I used the green stuff, and I make, like you do pizza dough, you make a ball and then flatten the ball, but I didn't stretch it out to be the size of a pizza, and I used the parchment paper to get it flat on both sides. Then he had some white on his lip for some reason. I decided I'm going to paint that red so it looks like he has a little blood, because he has been playing rough because they don't appreciate him. And now I glued him down and got the stick in his hands. I decided Leonardo's going to join him, so I glued Leonardo down, and he's getting body checked by Donatello, and that's what I ended up with. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, remember, always keep your head up. Next week I'm doing resin for the first time. It should be cool. See you then. Peace.
I have bricks!